Yo, what's going on, everybody? I just want to say how proud I am of black people, especially after last weekend when in Georgia, when a black organization displayed the power that the black community has, and the it shocked the what do you call the racist white community. It shocked them. Why? Because on display was hundreds, if not thousands, of organized, well-trained, armed black men and women who decided to exercise their Second Amendment rights and legally protest in the heart of the KKK land, where they were created and where they operate. And you see, if you notice something about these militias, let me tell you something about these militias. All right, people, let me tell you something about these militias. Okay, these so-called patriot 2%ers, 1%er militias that these racist white folks, and there's a few black people that disillusioned black people who don't know shit that's in these groups. All right, these militias are they are copies. They're new copies of the old militias that decided to go against the Union in the Confederacy. These are the same units. They name themselves the same names. They kind of beat around the name. They got the same emblems. They mean it. All right. They're trying to they want to bring the Confederacy back out. They want to rebuild that Confederate army that they had, right? And they only show up to protest where they know people are going to show up with no weapons. Okay? Because they're cowards. And I'll tell you something about the Second Amendment. I agree with the Second Amendment, right? But the problem with these people is these racist white folks. Now, I like to be specific when I talk about racist white folks instead of just white folks, because I don't want to blanket everybody. There's a certain group, of racist white folks that think like this. So the reason why they need their guns is because in history, if you know anything about history, you would know that black people, we have been the dominant military tool for thousands of years. Basically, we've always been dominant in war. When it was a physical war, when it came down to spears, swords, chariots, hand-to-hand combat, we've always been the dominant force. Nobody wants to smoke with us when it comes to that type of fighting. All right. The Persians didn't want it. The Romans didn't want it. The Greeks didn't want it. The Arabs didn't want it. Nobody wanted it. Spain didn't want it. Europe didn't want it. Nobody wanted it. Okay. The main reason why the Arabs, during what we call the Arab slave trade, and the main reason why they were coming in to get young Africans is because they used us for their military. They put us in their ranks because when you're in an arms race, you want to have the best weapon. So you would have a whole brigade, a whole battalion of African soldiers who will crush everybody. Okay? This is history. We've always been the preferred weapon. We were the AR-15 of the ancient times. Okay? Now, Europeans, when they discovered that gun, though, this is what changed everything. When they discovered that gun, or when they made the gun, when they took the concept from the Chinese and they made that gun, all of a sudden, these Europeans who could not compete with us physically during any type of war campaign, or they couldn't compete with a lot of different groups who were better than them at war. That gun changed everything. It was the greatest equalizer. All right. Once they got that gun, all of a sudden, they were able to go to any shore and they were able to kill the greatest warrior from a distance. No longer did your warrior prowess come from your lifetime of training, your discipline. It just came from you being able to pull a trigger and killing that person from a distance. What can you do? So you can be the most punk ass, sorry ass, weak ass, just person, and you can still kill hundreds of real warriors. Okay? So once they got that gun, they started to dominate. Understand this. So over here, at this point, they know the reason why they took Australia, the reason why they took Hawaii, the reason why they took North America is the gun. Because they were able to kill greater warriors than them with the gun. They need the gun. Without the gun, they have to be equal. And when you're equal, then you got to compete equally. And then that's when the individual attributes come out. And then you see who's really the dominant individual. That's why in North America, they're so pressed about their guns. They don't care about nothing else but their guns, because they feel in their minds, they believe that they know what would happen if they no longer had access to those guns. Okay? Look at all our sports. Any sport a black person gets involved with, and that's the sports is a great platform to display this, because you see what happens when we play evenly. When it's all equal, who dominates? I'm not being supremacist or nothing. It's just a fact. I mean, just look at what happens. Boxing. When we get in boxing, we dominate. Tennis, we dominate. Golf, we dominate. Football, we dominate. Basketball, we dominate. Soccer, the only way a European can win a goddamn FIFA World Championship is having a bunch of Africans on the team. We physically just dominate. They need that gun. Okay? Look at all the videos on YouTube every now and then. What do you see? When one of these racist white boys want to try their hand, they get their ass beat for the most part. Some of these white boys can fight. All right? Let's not get that straight. Some of these white boys can fight. All right? But as a whole, what do you normally see? You see the white guy starting some shit for whatever goddamn reason, and then you see the black guy whooping his ass, right? That's what you see. With the females, same thing, whatever, right? So, but this weekend, what you saw was that us black people, we always chucking and dancing and singing and shit. We're the most peaceful people in the world. But the reason why we're the most peaceful is because we're the most deadly. When you push our buttons to a certain point, we arm up. And it seems like the white community did not teach their people history, because if they did, they would know that throughout history, every time we were pushed so far, we stopped singing, we stopped dancing, we pull out those 808 drums, and we get the war fight. We are the greatest warriors on the planet. We literally defeated the Cro-Magnons. We defeated the Neanderthals. Before there was even white people, we literally defeated other humanoids who were trying to kill us on the planet. There were like several other different humanoid creatures on the planet that we literally had to fight life or death to exist. And we populated the planet. We're the best explorers. We're the best warriors. We've always been. We've just been here longer. We're the original, right? So when them white boys, when them racist white boys that like going out to these rallies where these peaceful protesters, and they're like displaying their little guns and toys and shit, when they see hundreds or thousands of organized black disciplined men and women with weapons just like them, now they understand, oh, shit's even now. So they don't want to come out and play. You see, they want us to keep dancing so they can come out with their guns so they can shoot us while we're dancing. But when we got a gun and they got a gun, all of a sudden shit changed. All of a sudden, I don't want to play no more timeout. You know? Because even during wartime, some of the greatest American military units were black. World War I, some of the greatest soldiers were black. The real Rambos were black. Know your history. Even with guns, we still dominate the warfield. I was in the Marine Corps. I was infantry. I've been over there. I have experience. I understand warfare and war and all that stuff. I've been there. All right. And even when I was in the Marine Corps, I was whipping up on everybody. I was a dominant force in my group. That's what I was. And nobody can challenge me on that. Anybody who knows me from the military knows I was a dominant force there. Nobody wanted no smoke because it was understood. You understand? The laws of nature, right? So I just encourage everybody. And then this is not, it's all about defense. We don't want no smoke. But if you're going to start the fire, that's just what's going to be. So it's all about defense, defending yourself. So we need to start arming ourselves and showing these militias, showing these racist, Confederate militias that their time is over. It's over. They had their chance. They abused the power once they gained it, and it's over. They had a very short run. It's over because now we're mad. Now we're done because we tried asking nicely. We tried begging. We tried negotiating. We tried sitting down and talking. None of this seems to resonate with these guys. Violence and destruction seems to be the only thing they understand. And America is built of violence and destruction, total destruction. We're the only country that dropped a nuke. We go to war with everybody. We kill people on a daily basis. I mean, this is a violent country. We are the Death Star. If you live in America, you're in the Death Star. If you live outside of the Death Star, you hate the Death Star. But you would love to live on the Death Star. Everybody would love to live on the Death Star. If you don't know what the Death Star is, Star Wars, okay? Yes, the Death Star on the outside was evil. But guess what? You would love to live there because you were safe there, right? So that's why people like coming here. Because it's safe to be on the Death Star. Because you're not a target because you're here. All right, keep that in mind. Don't let people, don't let people fool you. And when it comes to violence, the Confederacy, the racist white people, they like bringing up Baltimore. They like bringing up Chicago. Yes, we have violence in our communities. We have what they love to label black on black crime. There's no such thing as black on black crime. There's crime. Every community has crime in their communities. White people have white on white crime. Just like you pick Baltimore and Chicago, we can put Utah, Kentucky, Idaho, Kansas, same violence, same white people killing white people, committing crimes on white people. You can go to Minnesota, California, Latinos killing Latinos, crime. Nobody says white on white crime. Nobody says brown on brown crime. Nobody says yellow on yellow crime in Minnesota when you got the Cambodians and they killing each other like thugs on the street. They doing the same. Everybody does the same thing. When poverty is created, crime happens. So instead of concentrating, this is for some of the black folks that like to be super righteous. When you like to be super righteous, you say, oh, if black lives matter, then why we killing ourselves? Let's think bigger. We're killing ourselves because the communities are impoverished, and when impoverished people do desperate things to make money to survive, period. That's how it is in every country. If you want to change that, you must change the outside influences on that community. Meaning we, the people who are woke enough, need to fight to better our communities so that these kids have opportunities to do other things and thrive in life and not have to get on the block and not have to do certain things to make money. We need to keep our fathers in the community so that our fathers can train our young boys to be good, upstanding young men, to learn how to protect themselves, to use a weapon properly and maturely within the law, and not do crazy things, not hook up with Peebo and Ray Bay down the street selling drugs on a corner. Understand that drugs were put into our communities so that it can ravage our communities, so that they can bring their law enforcement in and subjugate our communities. Think bigger than your local. Think bigger than local. All right, you need to think state, country, worldwide. All right, but I'm real proud of my black people. We starting to arm up. Go get a gun. Go get a gun legally. Learn how to use it. Take a class. All right, learn proper use of the weapon. Learn how to fire a weapon responsibly, so that if you ever in need, you have to do it, you're not hitting an innocent person. Be responsible. Don't do things illegal so that the police can have a reason to come get you. But it's time to arm up. It's time to let these militias know, hey, look, we ain't playing. We not playing. It's time to let them know. Because what happens is they shut up, just like they did over there in Georgia. They shut up because in the end of the day, they're cowards. They're cowards. They don't want to fight straight up. They're just cowards. So I just want to throw that out real quick. I'm proud of my black folks. Let's keep it up. All women should be armed in states if you're allowed to be armed in some capacity. If you can't have a gun in your state, find the most legal self-defense weapon you possibly can. Get it, learn how to use it, and be proficient with it. All right, because we got to fight. We can't sit here and singing and dancing and praying because that don't work. All right, violence is what they know. So if they put violence upon us, we put violence upon them, period. I'm not calling for violence. What I'm saying is we need to defend ourselves. They need to have a healthy respect so they can think twice before they make a dumbass decision, like attacking one of us. And we need to start protecting ourselves. Black men need to start protecting these black women out here. Black women, they always had our back. They're always the ones in the front. Black men, we need to step up and start protecting our women. All right, period. Don't let anyone touch our women. It seems like white men love to fight women and they love to shoot black men. That shows cowardice. All right, racist white men love fighting black women because they feel like, oh, that's equal enough, so maybe I can beat her. And sometimes they can't even do that. But they love shooting black men because they don't want to fight us. Okay, so keep that in mind. Protect your black brothers and sisters, and let's do this. I'm proud of y'all. Black Power, Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. Peace.